Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
Excellent, Aubrey. What's going on with you? What's new?
Oh, not too much. It's a beautiful day here. I do have a question. We'll see if you can come up with something on the fly. I didn't
hmm
prepare you for this
Yeah,
question.
yeah, 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 yeah.
What's the last book you read?
Oh, wow. So I just read a book. I just finished a book called Finding Alaska, and I loved it. It was hard to find the time to read, though, to be honest.
Oh, that's me. I
Uh,
wish I had time to read more. I need to
mhm.
schedule it because, yeah,
Yeah,
same.
yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I think if you create a block of time in the day somehow and dedicate it to reading, it helps.
Yes, that would
Uh,
definitely help, right? Well, you
yeah.
did something really interesting with your answer there that I want to point out. We are
hmm
talking about today. You said it was hard to find time to read, though. And we got a great question about this. I've gotten questions from students about this before too. Like, how do I know when can I put though at the end? I've also seen it at
Mhm.
the beginning. Those kind of complicated English. We're going to dive into this today.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into a little higher level grammar here. And really, because this is one of the elements that would bring us to that B2 level, C1
Yes.
level, to really make it work, make it smooth, have it make sense, and convey our tone, our feelings, what's under the message, right?
Absolutely. Right. Yeah. So let's share the question here. This was on YouTube from Edwin. Would
Mhm.
you like to read the question for us, Lindsay?
Yes, here we go. Another amazing conversation. I guess he's referring to a previous episode, right?
Yes.
Great. Thank you, Edwin. I was wondering if you could teach about the word though at the end of some sentences. For example, the movie was good. It was a bit too long, though. And Aubrey, there's nothing more natural than a phrase like this, right?
Absolutely. We do this all the time.
Yes.
I just planned this episode a couple of days ago, but since then, it always kind of highlights for me. I start noticing, and I've heard people
Yeah.
do this several times since then. It's so common.
100%. So I'm excited that we are focusing on this real English today. But guys, hit the follow button. If you love all ears English and you believe in our method, our value, which is connection. Human connection is what matters. And that's what we're after right here on the show. So we bring every teaching point on the podcast back to how you can use it to connect. Not always to be correct. We're going to show you how to be correct, of course, but we believe connection matters more. Right, Aubrey?
Yes, exactly. And we're going to show three ways that we use though today. And the third one, especially, we really are using to build relationships and connect. So be sure to stay to the end so you don't miss that one. But
Okay.
we also want to share when I was looking through questions that have been sent to us, there was another one that was pretty similar, but it's more about though versus but. So I'm
Okay.
going to do that as a follow up. So be sure to hit follow, guys, so that you don't miss that sort of part two to this.
Yeah, a bit of a mini series we've got going
Yeah.
on here. I love that. Yeah. Where do we start today, Aubrey?
Okay, so as an FYI, though can go at the beginning, middle, or end of a sentence.
Okay.
So it is either being used as a conjunction to join
Mhm.
two clauses. And when it's a conjunction, it means despite the fact that or
Mhm.
even though.
Mhm.
So let's give an example sentence of it being used as a conjunction, Lindsay.
Okay, so here we go. So, though we called in our order, it wasn't ready when we arrived. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So it's at the beginning of a dependent clause. Though we called in our order, it wasn't
Mhm.
ready when we arrived.
Yeah.
And this is a conjunction to join two ideas.
Yeah.
But it
And
can also be used as
just
an adverb. Yeah, go ahead.
just one question about that. We could also say although, right? Although we called in our order, is that
Yes,
correct?
although
Yes.
or even though, or
Even though.
despite the fact that, right? We do have
Oh,
lots of options in English. So if you have said though a few times, you could use one of these other options. They all mean
okay.
the same.
All right, good. So let's transition into the adverb use. Aubrey, what does it look
Yeah, so it
like?
can also be used as an adverb. And when we use it as an adverb, it means despite this. Very similar, just a different function in the sentence.
So, for example, he felt guilty about lying to his mom, though he wasn't about to fess up.
Yeah, he
Okay.
wasn't about to fess up. He may have felt guilty, but he wasn't going to say anything about
Yeah,
it.
kind of means but, right? He felt guilty, but he wasn't going to tell her the truth. Yeah.
Exactly. You could also say but here. So we're going to talk about three different ways we use though in English. Some of these example sentences, it's being used as a conjunction, sometimes as an adverb.
Mhm.
And we're also going to show how we use it at the end. So
Uh,
let's start. The first use is adding contrasting information.
yes. So, used to add the information that contrasts with what we've already said, right?
Exactly. So something has already been stated, and then we use though to contrast it in some way.
Okay, so how does that look like? How does that look, Aubrey, when it's at the beginning of a sentence?
Yeah. So at the beginning, you might say, though I know I shouldn't eat ice cream every day, I just can't resist it. So we're
I feel that way too.
contrasting what we know we should do with what we actually do.
And then we can also have the option of putting it in the middle. So here's how it looks when we put it in the middle of the sentence. They went to the same university, though they never met there. Interesting.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end, you might say, I like shopping, not when it's crowded though. And then what's interesting is to see that all of these sentences could be reworded to put
Mhm.
the though at the end or the beginning. It's all just about how you're constructing the sentence. So you have lots of options.
Yes.
And when you throw it at the end here, I think it's the most native and natural. We do this all the time. It's a little
Yeah.
more informal when we speak this way.
Yeah. And I think you do need to pay attention to intonation here too. Our listeners really want to make sure because when we say it at the end, it feels like the intonation is different, right? Not when it's crowded though. Do you think
Yeah,
so?
we're emphasizing though a little more. So all of these sentences we could adjust. I could say, they went to the same university. They never met there though.
Yes.
And you
Mhm.
are hitting though a little stronger to
A little
sort of
harder.
emphasize the contrast.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So what's number two, Aubrey, that we
All
need to
right.
know?
Two is like you mentioned, you're replacing but or however. In
Mhm.
this case, it's used as a subordinating conjunction.
Mhm.
So this indicates that something you have said is less true than usual. So it's a similar,
Mm.
but it's a slightly different meaning. You're not just contrasting information. You're sort of saying whatever I'm saying is out of the usual, is not normal.
Okay, so for example, when we put it at the beginning, we could say, though I don't usually buy popcorn at the movies, I'm getting some today. Yes.
Yes, or in the middle, I don't usually drink soda, though I drank a lot today.
Nice. Or at the end, I usually never skip class. I didn't go today though. Yes.
Yeah, and for all of these, I think this is what's especially interesting. Every time you see though, it could be tacked on at the end, like our listener
Mhm.
mentioned, right? You could say, I don't usually drink soda. I drank a lot today though. And it
Yes.
really they're very interchangeable. It's the same meaning. I would say it's the slightest bit more maybe informal, sort
Yeah.
of casual, conversational,
You
but
mean
they
at
mean
the
the same
end?
thing.
When it's at the end?
Yes, when it's at
Yeah,
the end.
I agree with that. It feels yeah, it feels more down to earth maybe, but small difference, very small difference. Maybe more yeah, more spoken
Yes,
English.
and you might just be tacking it on at the end because you're sort of thinking as you speak, and
Yeah.
you're realizing you need the though. If I say, "I don't usually drink soda," and then I realize I need to admit, "I drank a lot today, though." So
Yes.
then I might be adding it because I'm sort of not realizing the function here until the end.
100%. I think that is what's happening actually.
A lot, yeah.
You're thinking out loud and you're adding words as you're thinking how the sentence is sounding, right? How does
Right? We
it
get
sound?
to
I
the
never
end, I'm
skip
like,
class, but I didn't go
"I need
today,
to
so
add though." Yeah, I didn't go today, though.
Right, right. All right, the third one is to show appreciation. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, we add though to thanks. It means the
Mhm.
same as like thank you anyway or thanks regardless. And
Mhm.
you are using it to indicate appreciation for an offer or a gesture that you cannot accept for some reason or it's not needed.
Yes. I don't need a ride. Thanks though. Yeah, so you've been
Yeah,
offered a ride and maybe you are going to walk home or you're going to take a lift or someone's coming to get you, right?
exactly. And so you could just say no thank you, but that
Mhm.
actually could come off as a little bit unappreciative or like this is a great way to show that you appreciate the offer. And we'll just be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, no, thanks though."
Yeah, and actually that gives me an idea. We could do another episode, Aubrey, on how to decline an offer for something. We say
Mm.
lots of interesting things. We say things like, I'm good, thanks, right? Things like that that are kind of slangy. So for another
Yes.
day, for another day.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely a good follow-up because there are so many ways where we're trying to let someone know we appreciate the offer without we don't want to just say thank you or it does sound a little ungrateful. It's
Yes,
interesting.
100%. All right. Anything else we need here before we take a quick break?
Yeah, I just had that one more example to say if someone's offered you maybe a ride, you can say, "No, I'm okay. Thanks though." That'd be
Yeah.
another one to bring up on that whole episode of ways to say that.
Yeah. I think when someone does make an offer, the more words you can give, the better because that kind of softens the blow, right?
Right.
If you
No
say no, thank
thanks
you.
is a
Yeah.
little
A little
abrupt.
sharp, yeah. Okay, Aubrey, we're back for a role play. Let's see how all this comes together in a conversation. Here we're meeting for lunch. Okay.
Yeah, you wanna start us?
Yes. I thought I had been to every Thai place in town. I haven't been here though.
It's my favorite. Thai is often too spicy for me, though this curry is just right.
Do you need a ride home after? I know your car was in the shop.
No, I got it back today. Thanks, though.
Nice. Very typical conversation, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And we used all three, and they do have
Mhm.
such different functions. It's easy. So, this first one you said, I thought I had been to every Thai place in town. I haven't been here, though. And
Mhm.
the intonation is very different. We're rising on, haven't been here, though.
I haven't
And
been
then
here
down a little on,
though.
though. That's that
Right.
first meaning of just to really contrast what's usual with what's happening today.
Yeah, you're also showing a sense of optimism in your voice. You're interested, you're excited to be somewhere new. There's a lot in
Yeah,
there in that
true.
intonation, I think. Yeah. Let's see. And then you said it's my favorite. Thai is often too spicy for me, though this curry is just right. And there is
Yeah.
also a change in intonation there too. Yeah.
That's true, right? You have to listen to kind of how our voices rise and fall. And this is
Mhm.
that second use where we're saying what normally happens. Normally, Thai is too spicy for me. And then we say, though this curry is just right.
Love it. And then we finished up with a kind of not accepting an invitation. What was it, Aubrey?
Yeah. So you had offered me a ride home, thinking my car was in the shop. I said, oh, no, I got it back today. Thanks, though. And
Excellent.
this is really, it's just a great, very native, natural way to show appreciation for the offer.
Yeah. Where should we leave our listeners? First of all, reminder to hit the follow button. Don't forget, don't finish the episode without doing that, guys. And then what do we want to say about contrasting as far as connecting?
Yeah, it is a great way to connect, to contrast something, because whenever something is out of the ordinary,
Yeah.
it can create an interesting conversation. You want to
Mm,
highlight it, right? We have all of us kind of go through the humdrum of the day when there is a contrast. Oh, something's happening that's very different from the day to day. This is a great way to connect, to point it out.
that's actually a really good point. I love that point, Aubrey. Nuance. The interesting things in life are usually nuanced. Someone that never
Absolutely.
skipped school, but they did today, right? Someone that follows a diet, but they decided to skip their diet plan today and go out of, take like enjoy the day. These are
Exactly.
interesting stories and moments to connect on. So
Yes,
show it.
anything out
Yeah.
of the ordinary. We want to know why, right? We find out
Yes.
more about someone. We find out that they left their normal routine for some reason.
Yeah, so it's a key connection skill and it's also just very natural. We use this all of the time. So I want our listeners to focus on really adopting this.
Yes, absolutely. Add this to your language. Start noticing it. You're going to hear it on TV, podcasts, conversations day to day. We say it all the time.
All right, Aubrey, you have a good day. I'll talk to you soon.
You too. Thanks, Lindsay.
Bye.
Bye.